I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is another request for Felix. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any other type of videos or reviews, movie topics in general, reactions, what have you. You request either directly to my PayPal or join me on my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. If not, no worries, but if so, thank you so much. Yeah, I apologize for being under the weather, so that's why I sound different. Final Destination 5 is a film I didn't remember anything about, and watching it again, it is better than I remember. Although I'm not big on the ending, on the flip side, it is, I thought, rather clever. I didn't see it coming when I first saw it. I will say, compared to the previous film, at least this tries to do a little bit more with the characters. At least it tries to have an interesting idea put into the plot, which is, well, what if you kill someone, maybe you could take their lifespan. I think that's an interesting idea. I think they could have done even further with that, but that was an interesting idea brought up. Tony Todd, who's not in the fourth film, he comes back. On the flip side, like, why don't they fucking get into the goddamn point of who Tony Todd is in these movies? Obviously, he's a coroner. He obviously knows more than others what's going on, but he's so goddamn obtuse about it, oblivious about it, hidden about it. He's like fucking Yoda trying to get something out of his goddamn crawl. And it makes you go, well, what the fuck? What's going on? Anyway, the plot of the film, this is a company retreat with these colleagues. Guy has a vision, their bridge collapse. The effects aren't too bad compared to the fourth film with the opening of that NASCAR jamboree. This CD does look better. I would say this was a bit more interesting to me than the roller coaster bit. To me, the first two are still the best, but this one, I would say because of a couple things, I liked it a bit more than Final Destination 3. I wouldn't say I loved it. I would never pick it up for my collection, but I can't say I hated it. I guess as a time waster, because like I said, the beginning with the bridge, that was a interesting idea. You know, a car falls into someone while they're in the water. One person gets burned because of hot tar. One person gets split in half. Again, I think the effects CG is a bit better compared to the last one. I thought the death scenes were a bit more interesting in this compared to the previous one. or even a couple of the ones in part 3. The one with the gymnastics, I didn't mind that one because I thought it tried to do a decent job with suspense, where this is one piece of screw and people are just narrowly avoiding it. You're just wondering, when is someone going to step on this thing? And then someone does land and break their neck, like they're broken to pieces, and I went, ugh, because I don't know what it is, like people being broken up. I just imagine my own neck being broken that way, and I didn't think the effects was that bad in that scene. Other death scenes, the eye surgery clinic, you know, as someone who does have glasses, I can relate to that, and like the idea of you being stuck there and your eyes literally being burned because of this laser. It was like, ugh, one of those, like, that's something I never got out of the 4th film. Even some of the 3rd film, like the factor. I did get it here. And some of them were just fun. They were fun, but at the same time, I didn't just go, fuck, it's stupid. Like the one in the 3rd one, where it's like, yeah, baby, yeah, I'll live forever. And then his head pops like a grape. I'm like, fucking what the fuck. Here, some of the more funny ones was like the asshole at the massage parlor. He's an acupuncture session. This fire's going on. He lands, and the acupunctures are inside of him now. But the guy's such a creepo that a fucking Buddha lands on his head. I'm like, okay. Even Buddha doesn't like you, and you're sorry ass. There's another one where I recognize the guy's name. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was the boss in the film called Waiting, and if you see his face, you'd be like, oh, I recognize that guy. He's in a ton of comedies. I should look it up real quick, but he gets like a wrench into the head. And the aftermath is pretty good. Looks like makeup effect, the aftermath, so I thought that was pretty nice. The actors, though, I mean, the actors are doing their jobs, but there's really nothing to these characters. I mean, they're trying to do a little bit more compared to the 4th one, where these two people used to be a couple, and now they're not anymore. But there's really nothing to these people. I dare anyone to remember a fucking thing about these characters at all. I mean, Nicholas D'Augusto, Emma Bell, Miles Fisher. David Koechner is the guy I was thinking of. He was an Anchorman. He was in NBC's The Office. Yeah, David Koechner, he's been in a ton of stuff. Courtney B. Vance is in the film as a detective on the case. So yeah, his ex-girlfriend Molly, and then his friends. There's, again, like I said, there's really not much to the characters, so it's kind of hard to care about them one way or another. And even with some of the praise I'm given, it does feel like it's getting a little bit long in the tooth, this whole setup. And like I said, the idea of, well, wait a minute, what if we could steal someone's lifespan by killing someone, because we're not meant to live, and that person's not meant to die, and there has to be a balance. And one guy, this asshole, like, racist motherfucker, keeps pushing him, and says, wait, what are you doing? And this thing drops, and he gets out of the way, and it kills the other guy. And like I said, at least there's some interesting stuff to this. That's one of the things I complained about in my review of the 4th one, The Final Destination, is that brings something new to the table. At least this is interesting to the fact that when you get to the third act, a big part of the third act is one of their own trying to kill this girl Molly who survived in the vision, trying to kill her for her lifespan, and the lead guy trying to protect her, and him and the other guy, they're getting into this fight in this kitchen area. I'm okay, that's interesting development of the plot. Like, what if your dear friends is trying to murder either you or, in this case, your girlfriend, because, hey, if I do this, I can stay alive. And actually, in that case, no, he kills the agent, Courtney B. Vance. I got his lifespan. But you know, I got my life back. I'm not going to have that lead to me going directly to jail because of you two. So he's trying to get rid of witnesses. That's what it was. Yeah, that made it a bit more interesting in the story, made it a bit more different, a little bit more unique, wasn't so cookie cutter. I do appreciate that. I can't get mad at a movie for doing something that I wanted it to do. I think more could have been done, but I like that idea. But I guess it's one of those where we're going to bring in the idea, but we can't go too far away from the formula. But like I was saying before, like Tony Todd, like who is Tony Todd? Is he deaf? He knows... Maybe he's a guy who's went through this. Maybe he's the first guy that's went through this. Maybe he's a guy who's like, hey, I've been through this. I now just work my job. We don't know. I don't think they'll ever tell people. People say it's death. But if it's death himself, he likes talking about himself in the third person. So I guess that's why people assume that he is death himself. Because in the first film, I'll see you soon. He does that. You say, oh, he's saying it because he's a coroner, but oh no, he's saying it because he's death. But when Tony Todd appears, he pretty much just does the same thing. The exact same thing with no differences. And the first one, the second one, the third one you heard his voice. The fourth one he's not in it. And the fifth one, he can pretty much do the same thing that was in the first film. And then the ending, spoiler alert, I thought it was clever, and I didn't see it coming when I first saw it, is that this all takes place in the year 2000. This is all a prequel. It takes place before the first movie, and our remaining characters get on a plane, which is the plane that will explode in the first movie. And, I'm like, well... On one end, yet again, it's one of those things where, of course, everybody has to die. Not one person can fucking live in these movies. I did predict that when I first saw it. I'm like, no one's going to live. I didn't predict the circumstances that, oh, it's a prequel. It all takes place in the year 2000. Yeah, I thought that was clever. I didn't see that coming. So I give credit where credit's due on that. The actors... I would say the characters are one of the weakest parts of this film. Because acting wise, like even the fourth film, I like Michael T. Williamson. I wish he was lead. Here, everybody's just a whole heaping helping of indifference. Nicholas D'Augusto, Emma Bell, Miles Fisher. Nicholas D'Augusto is Sam Lawton. Emma Bell is Molly Harper. Miles Fisher is Peter Friedkin. Ellen Rowe is Candace Hooper. I can't tell you a fucking thing about any of these characters. Except one is pissed that his love of his life died, and he wants to live, so he's trying to kill someone to get the lifespan. The lead... bland... I mean, I wouldn't say he was the worst in acting, but just rather bland character. I think that's what I mean. Bland character. At least in the first one, I like Devon Sawa. In the second film, it was more the events, trying to one-up the original, the craziness, one-upping in the gore, one-upping, like, that was its sort of driving force, and enjoy for that. It became almost more of an action movie in a way. I know that doesn't make sense, but just felt more even crazier and gorier with the stunts and the kills and things of that nature. While the first one tried to be very serious, suspenseful, the second one just bonkers craziness. But then it like really had nowhere to go. Like, can you really try to be scary again? But then people want the gore, so like, what do you do? So this does have some, like I said, interesting ideas. Did Tony Todd there to collect a paycheck to do the same fucking thing he did the first film? A bit more of the characters, a bit more development of the characters, maybe different actors would have helped, I don't know. This director, I don't know anything this person has done. Steven Quale. Oh, that's not true? I didn't realize it. He would direct Into the Storm. I enjoyed Into the Storm. I reviewed that. Okay. So never mind. Into the Storm I enjoyed more than this. I liked Into the Storm. It's not as good as Twister, but for a tornado movie, it's pretty good, I thought. But even then, I could say that the characters are not the best part of Into the Storm. And maybe that's the thing with this director. Characters are not his strong point. He's capable director in other fronts, but like I say, even Into the Storm, which I enjoy, and I enjoy more than this, the characters are not the best part of that movie. So maybe he either needs to work with his actors more, or more, maybe it's casting, maybe it's writing, I don't know. When he's Final Destination 5, it's not the worst of the 5. Again, I would put it above 4, definitely, because the CGI is better, the death scenes are more interesting, the ending's at least a little bit clever. I would put it above 3 because with 3, I don't know, with 3, just, I mean, that just didn't do it for me, 3. Maybe because I'm not a huge Mary Elizabeth Winstead guy. Maybe because every time I think of her, I think of the Thing prequel, which pisses me off. I don't know. Although I could deal with her and Live Free or Die Hard. With that said, Final Destination, you only needed the first 2 films. I don't think you needed more. Even by this point, you introduce a little bit of stuff, but you're not doing a whole lot with them. It's an improvement after part 4. In my opinion, a little bit of improvement over part 3, but it's just lackluster characters, meh acting. You're pretty much sitting there watching the death scenes, enjoying the death scenes. If that's enough, I can understand. That's why, you know, this was a time waster, but I would never see this film again. If I do see Final Destination, I would just rewatch the first 2. So there you go. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.